mean to tell me that we got Tank fighting Lamont Roach? There was no... Why? Why is this happening? Why in the world is this transpiring when it comes to Tank Davis? See, this is what I hate about Tank. I hate this about Gervonta Davis. We can talk about the talent. We can talk about the bravado. We can talk about the knockout power. But when it comes to actually being tested, the brother doesn't do it. This fight with Lamont Roach should not be happening at all. Lamont Roach is 25, 1-1. He's been in the game for a decently long time. Just won the WBA Super Featherweight Championship from, ironically enough, Hector Luis Garcia. He's only had one title defense in his career, and the loss that he lost to was Jamal Herring. And we were saying that Jamal Herring at that point in time was old. There is no quality reason that Tank should be messing with anybody at 130 pounds. Detractors may say, oh, there wasn't anybody to fight. Let's pump the brakes on it. We understand that circumstances were sparse, to say the least, when it came to Tank fighting the rest of 135. Shakur Stevenson, injured. Couldn't fight Lomachenko because Lomachenko was out for personal reasons. However, even with that being the case, I had said that Tank, the only road that he needs to go from after Frank Martin was up. It's the only road that was viable. And with every other avenue seemingly done, go and move up to 140 pounds and fight where every one of your other confidants have now gone up to, because you already fought Mario Barrios at 140 pounds. So what in the world is it that's holding you back from doing that again? It makes no sense. This is terrible. There was no point. There's nothing competitive about this fight. This is not disrespectful to Lamont Roach. This is just how good Tank is. At this stage, it should be champions above or at your weight class or bust, not moving up. Lamont Roach ain't even proved himself as a great champion because he's only had one title defense. The brother isn't even a knockout artist or knockout savant that's got power to his name because he's only got 10 KOs in his 25 wins. He's a good boxer. He's crafty. He can be slick. He's got a decent chin. Dare I say a good chin. But coming up from 130 to 135, no, that's not going to work. This is a terrible fight for a fighter that is leagues above who he's fighting. Tank has no business messing with anybody at 130. Tank has no business messing with anybody else except for champions or top prospects at 135. And Tank has no business fighting anybody else but legitimate contenders moving up to 140 and staying there. We don't want this fight. Tank's going to knock out Lamont Roach and it's going to be easy. It's not going to be competitive. It's not going to be impressive. And we're not going to be sitting here and give it the props that it's due, not because it's disrespectful to Lamont Roach, but because of when it comes to Tank, we expect more from you now. Because you have to understand, you could have fought Valenzuela. You could have fought in your own weight class. You could have fought Floyd Schofield. Perfectly fine with that. Somebody else brought up in the last string, or should Schofield fight Tank at 135 or Dula Mason fight Tank at 135? I had said that both of them right now aren't worth the time because he has said that he now wants to go after championships. And since that's the case, it's either Shakur or Lomachenko. After that, no real reason to fight anybody else because they don't provide any form of real legacy-driven content to add to his career. Understandable because of what we were saying at that point in time and what Tank had said himself. Now, however, when everybody else was gone, it's a straight and narrow way. Go and fight Venezuela. You go and fight Teofimo Lopez. You go and fight Poirot, who beat Sabril Matias. You go and fight Sabril Matias. Richardson Hitchens, even. Anybody. Just somebody of a higher or at your same weight class instead of bringing somebody up from 130. This is it's a bum move. It's a bum move by a great fighter who should be on a higher trajectory than this. And this is going to hurt his career. And by career, I mean long-standing accolades and legacy. And we keep beating a dead horse because the same message keeps needing to be said. Tank, if you don't do what needs to be done and fight top people on a consistent basis now, you will never be seen as the fighter that you yourself should be seen as. And we don't give credit for just talent. We give credit for achievement. And there was no other path that seemingly should have been taken outside of fighting at 140. There was none. It seemed the only logical option. Yet still, you went and go this other way in a perplexing move that shocks the world. You still go and do this. It is preposterous that Tank is even thinking that this is a viable option. We don't want a non-competitive fight with a smaller champion that hasn't proved himself yet, that just became a champion, who's been around the block, who is older, who is not on your level in the slightest. This isn't good at all. This doesn't make me want to give you respect. This doesn't make me want to give you your flowers and just do. We're going to be saying, where's the real competition? Where's the challenge? And this is, again, Tank doing what Tank does, which is exactly why what Tank does is horrible. Because if he can do what he wants, just like if what Canelo can do what he wants, that's a problem. Because if you don't want to test yourself, where's the penalization? Where's the outcry from fans? Where is the absolute disdain from the public to say, no, we don't want this fight? Why pay money on a pay-per-view fight for this type of buffoonery? This makes you look, again, like a bum. Further shows my point about Tank. When it comes to big challenges, when it comes to taking risks, when it comes to making yourself better, when it comes to achieving a legacy that makes you actually be one of the greats of all time, living up to the status that you and your own fans say that you are at already, saying that you're the best in the world, saying that you're the face of boxing, saying that you run the show, saying that you run the sport, you don't move like it. You don't carry yourself like it when it comes to making and looking for quality fights. You've been saying you got a hit list for oh so long. And the only person that you've knocked off that hit list is Ryan Garcia. And that's because he was the only buddy that actually was willing to make the fight. He came in weight drained. He came in with an injury, broken rib. He came in with all that and still opted to fight. He's the only buddy that has fought Devin Haney, that has fought Tank, that's looking to fight the best of the best. We can't say anything about Ryan Garcia when it comes to that. The brother would take on anybody. Tank, you fighting Ryan as your biggest claim to fame of recent is not good. Where is going for titles at 135? You could have bought Bjornchik. Try to go after his title. Just to say, you try to unify as you are the WBA champion. Could have fought Valenzuela at 140 because he's not coming down to 135. That's what he said. That's why that fight didn't happen when it was trying to be negotiated, when it was rumored. Could have fought Teofimo Lopez, who currently is open and available, who, if you beat Tio, brother, that silences a whole lot of noise about what you are. Could have campaigned at 140. Could have went and keep on fighting top dogs. But you don't want to go down the murderer's road of boxing. And it's a shame. It's horrible that this is what you're doing when you know you can be better than this. The clock, by Tank's own volition, the clock is ticking on his career. He has said he doesn't want to be in the sport long. He said he wants to now go after titles now that his career is starting to wind down. He said that he wants to go after big names now that his career is coming to an end because he's already given a date of when he wants to stop boxing. This is his words. And he's not living up to that same level of actual accomplishment that he said that he wants. There's nothing we can say except for you're moving like a buck because you actively are doing nothing to validate that claim. Nothing. What you're the one that makes your career. If you have as much power as Canelo, then that means that you have as much responsibility as Canelo to make the fights that the fans want to see, to keep on pushing yourself. We get on Canelo for making moves that aren't applicable to what his career is supposed to be. We get on him for making moves that we know are not good for the legacy of his career and are not what we want to see as fans, like with not fighting David Benavidez multiple times. We get on him and hold him accountable, and we got to do the same thing for Tank. Tank, you are running from the test. You're running from the challenge. You're running from everything that we know you could actually achieve. You don't get respect. You get paid, but you don't get respect. You're never going to be seen as what you claim that you are, which is the best in the world. In a way, has the career that people think Tank has and that Tank thinks Tank has. Canelo, before the recent moves that he's made, had the career that Tank claims that he has to make him the best in the world. Most boxers at the elite level have a career that Tank thinks that he has to make him the best in the world. It boggles my mind that when we know what you can do and we're calling for it, you still don't do it. You will never be what you claim to be. You'll never be the face of boxing. You'll never be the biggest name in the sport. You'll never be pound for pound number one because of these types of actions, because of this type of ignorant moving, ignorant rhetoric, consistently talking, but you don't do anything. And every time we think that you're finally on the road to success, the road to making something plausible, the road to making actual circumstances of legitimate legacy-driven fights, you never do it. Frank was supposed to be the catapult to now bigger and better, either 140 or every single legitimate prospect at 135. And there was no getting around it, yet you still find a way to get around it. It's weak, it's pathetic, it's horrible, it's terrible, it's utterly ignorant on the side of Tank to go and do this. We don't care about how much power you got, we care about how you use it. We care about you stamping your legacy, staking your claim, making yourself the best that you can be by testing yourself against the best that's out there. And Tank, when every road led to going up or fighting the best of the best without any obstacle in his way, because there was literally no other option, you go and you do this. Shame on you is what we have to say. It's an outright shame. It's an outright horrid shame. And at this point, I'm sick of Tank. I'm sick of Tank. I'm sick of talking about him. I'm sick of constantly having him as a fixture in the boxing landscape when all he is right now is talk. Tank is just talk. And this isn't me hating on Gervonta Davis. This isn't me trying to say that Tank isn't indeed one of the better talents in boxing. No, but we're objective here. We don't care what your talent is. We care about what you do. We laud Noya Inoue, the monster, because of what he's done coupled with his talent. Because of him actively taking on test after test after test after test. No qualms, no running, no ducking and dodging. Just keeping to his word and making his talent on the biggest stage always apparent. There's no issue you can say with Inoue. There was no issue you could have said with Canelo at that point in time. There's nothing you can say about David Benavidez. Nothing you can say about Dimitri Bivol. Nothing you can say about Artur Beterbiev. These other great champions of the past, who we hold the standard for. Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Ali, Foreman, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Salvador Sanchez. I can keep going on and on and on. Georgie Joe Walcox. There's so many boxers who kept on taking that test. And whether they win or lost, they took it. Inoue took it. Benavidez has been trying to take it every step of the way. Canelo used to take it. Now, Tank, we thought you were going there when it came to you and Frank Martin. Now we see that was all just a lie, because it's stupid that we're continually having these conversations and nothing's getting done because you yourself are doing nothing. And it makes us not want to care. Yeah, sure, we want to see the performances, but I don't want to care about Tank. I don't want, in the grander scheme of things, I don't want to care about Tank now because of what Tank isn't doing. And if we keep seeing Tank not do this, yes, he'll still be popular. Yes, he'll still have a bunch of money, a bunch of accolades, not a bunch of accolades. He'll have a bunch of highlight KOs. He'll look on paper phenomenal. But until he consistently tests himself at this stage of his prime against other people in their prime who are also legitimate threats, you'll never be in the same conversation as other greats, both now and in the future. All time. It'll never happen. As much, we'll never disrespect the talent, but we will disrespect the move, because there is no respect to the moves that you're doing at this stage in your career.